Hello, welcome to Self-Love Sunday Chat. My name is Kasia Kolek. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and women's holistic coach, and I have created this space for highly sensitive, empathetic women just like me to practice very gentle but very radical self-love so that they can build rock-solid confidence and create thriving relationships. And today we are going to talk about boundaries. So let me know if you are here and whether you can see and hear me. Just give me a thumbs up or say hi in the comments. And we have like a really very interesting topic today. Now, in case you haven't watched the previous video, we had a self-love Sunday chat a while ago about boundaries as well. That might be good to watch as well if you want to dive deeper into the topic. But for today, we are going to focus on three biggest stumbling blocks that so often stop us from creating, healthier, like feeling great boundaries in our life and in our relationships. And before we dive in, just to remind you that we are having an amazing workshop, yes, on Tuesday at 7 p.m., where I will tell you more about 5 secrets to easy and effortless relationships. So if you struggle in any way with any of your relationships, and it might be love relationship, relationships with your other family members, relationships with your friends, even relationships at your workplace, then you want to be with us on Tuesday, and I'm going to share with you my unique Ignite method, how to bring so much more peace and ease and fulfillment into all of your relationships. Great, but for today, let's focus on boundaries and what's really stopping us from setting them in the way we would love to set them. Because the thing to remember, first of all, is that boundaries are a very individual thing. Yes, so you need to play and experiment and test and see what really works for you. It's there is no like one fit all formula here. It really, what feels right to me might be much like too much for you, or the other way around. Yes, so it's always around setting the boundaries, not like in some general way that is considered like healthy, but what feels healthy for you, what what really resonates and what really makes you feel safe on the one hand and connected to others on the other hand. And I can't see the comments for some reason, so just bear with me for a sec. I'll try to see what's in here. Hi Rebecca. Hi Rebecca. Hi Serena. Good to see you here. Hi Mara. Great to see you. All right. So the biggest secret and biggest help for me after like so many years of working with my own boundaries and also helping other women to set them, in the best way possible. Hi, Karina. Is to get really curious about your whys, right? So really starting to ask yourself questions why you do things the way you do them, why you don't do things the way you would like to do them. And just to get most out of this chat today, I would really like you to focus on one situation or one relationship, something very specific that is causing you some discomfort or struggle or pain at the moment in terms of boundaries. So try to pinpoint one situation or one relationship, one area of your life even, where you would like to set boundaries in a better way. And if you have something, just let us know in the comments. And it can be an emotional boundary, it can be a time boundary, for example, it can be, a personal boundary. Sometimes there are also, these internal boundaries that we need to set. Like for me, I constantly need to set boundaries with my work. Yes, I'm really passionate about what I do. I love what I do. And quite often I got into the flow, I got into the zone, and I forgot about time and other things. And although it feels very good, it's still a thing that needs a clear boundary. Sorry, it's my dog making some noise. um, it still needs a clear boundary, and I know this because I burned myself out a few times already. So now I need to be very careful and how to to keep this boundary really in a really healthy way. So find something very specific that might be causing a bit of problems for you right now, and just whatever we are going to talk about today, it will be much more practical that way if you keep focusing on one particular situation. And please let us know in the comments what it is. And don't worry also too much about which one you're going to choose, because I'm sure you've noticed that once you make some breakthrough and you learn how to set a boundary in one particular situation, then it becomes much easier to set it in all the other areas of your life or in all the other relationships as well, right? So this is something that helps quite often. All right. Let me just check if we are here as well. Pages. Yeah, that seems to be working as well. All right, brilliant. Okay, so let's let us dive in. So the first question that I would like you to ask yourself is, why didn't I set this boundary yet? Why didn't I set this boundary in the way that I want really to set it yet? What's stopping me? Because if you have chosen this situation or this relationship, you must know that there is something you would like to do better, but you haven't done it yet. So this is the question, for example, why do I continue to participate in all these heated discussions, yes, with my husband that last for many, many hours, although I know that they lead nowhere. And then I just wake up half dead in the morning. Why do I keep picking up the phone just to listen to all the negativity and complaints coming from my friend, although I know that it brings me down and then it drags after me for the whole day? Or why do I say yes to working an extra day or doing an extra project at work, although I know that my workload is already too much for me? Why do I keep doing this? And these are very, very important whys. And finding the answers to these questions will help you a lot, especially if you look for answers with curiosity and compassion, not for beating yourself, not to beat yourself up, but really trying to understand what is what are the reasons behind you continuing to do things the way that don't serve you very well. So they're usually the answers that you find usually fall into three categories that I want to tell you about. And I really would like to, for you to check with yourself whether or which category really resonates in this case. So the first thing that quite often happens is what we call like secondary gains. And secondary gains are a very interesting thing. These are all like unobvious hidden gains that you get from not setting boundaries, yes, or from allowing the situation to continue just the way it does at the moment. In other words, it is what you would lose if you set the boundary the way you want to set it. So just start thinking, about your specific situation. But the obvious example is smoking. Yes, is if a person smokes, and let's say they also work like in a big company where they have all these, breaks. They go for a smoke on their breaks, and they all chat together and have a lot of fun. And the moment this person is going to quit smoking, they will lose this. So they will lose all the good things that come from having these breaks and having this social contact with all the people, yes, and feeling like connected and like they belong to that particular group of people. That's a huge gain that is going to be lost. Or just imagine, a woman that is kind of in a loveless marriage, and she tends to have a drink or two in the evenings. What is the secondary gain here? Of course, like these few drinks allow her to avoid facing what the situation is really like. They help her to avoid, I don't know, maybe feelings of helplessness or even despair, yes, or disappointment that she would have to face in the evenings when everything gets quiet and she stops being so busy. And these feelings usually come up to the surface. So if she stops drinking, yeah, then she will have to face all that. So, and pain, is one of our biggest motivators, right? We would go great lengths to avoid pain. So if your unhealthy boundary helps you to avoid pain, well, then you need a lot of motivation to change it. But first of all, you need to be aware, yes, of what the secondary gain is, because otherwise it can keep you stuck without you even knowing what's really going on. So just think for a moment, yes, in this particular situation that you have chosen, what it is that you might lose if you decide to go on and set the boundary in a much healthier way. And also, like, just give me yes in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Yes, if this make sense to you. Because in terms of boundaries, it's what's often coming to the surface. Yes, it's our fear of rejection. Yes, what we quite often get from not setting the boundary, yes, is people's approval, yes, is people being happy with us, if people being comfortable and not having any difficult emotions. And that can be very, very important thing for us, right? So does that make sense? Does that sound familiar as well. Let me know in the comments. We are like, it's very, very quiet today. And I know it's summer, so everyone went to the beach already. But for those of you who are here with me today, let's have a bit of interaction. So just let me know. Does that make sense to you? Yes, brilliant. Okay, thanks a million. Now I know that you are here. Okay, so yeah, so this gain that people approve of you, or that they are pleased with you, or that they are happy with you, this can be a very big gain. Yes. For me, I was so afraid for such a long time of people being cross with me or angry with me or not happy with me, that I used to automatically say yes to anything they asked me for. Yes, so no matter what someone asked me about, like it felt like almost automatic that I would say like, of course, no problem, of course, no problem to everything. But then after a few minutes or a few days sometimes, when I really realized what I agreed to, I would become very resentful. And that's a game we so often play. Yes, say yes now, or agree now, and resent later. So it's very helpful to become aware of what your secondary gains are, and just write them down, whatever is coming to the surface for you, because then you can find ways how to get what you want without compromising what is really important for you. All right, so that's the first thing. Now, another stumbling block, the second stumbling block that so often stands in our way to setting a healthy boundary, is what we call emotional resilience. And I'm really curious whether you have noticed that. I come across this so often, that whenever we want to make a change, we get all this motivation and enthusiasm for doing something differently. It might be like a new exercises that we start to do in our life, or some diet, even whatever change really, whether it's big or small. So you start with enthusiasm, with motivation. You're really inspired to do this change, and then after some time, and it might be a few days or a few weeks even, but usually after a certain point, something shifts, and you very unexpectedly like lose all that motivation, all that inspiration, all your enthusiasm, and instead of all that, what comes to the surface is all kind of excuses, all kind of justifications why you can't do the very thing that you committed to doing a few days or weeks ago. Does that sound familiar? Do you recognize that? So do you recognize that? So it is something that we call emotional resilience, and it's very helpful again to know what's really going on here and why it is going on, because then you are not at the mercy of this very automatic process. Yeah, so Mary can recognize that. And who's this? I can't see your name, but someone is in bed and it's so hot outside. Yeah, it's very hot outside. I really love this hot. It feels like summer in Poland. So I'm delighted we are going to have a few nice and warm days. Okay, definitely I'm going through it now. Okay, so if you're going through it now, really pay attention, to two things, because this is like a very subconscious, a very automatic force or process that is happening, and that can stop you from achieving any goals you set out to achieve. And there are two things going on here. So the first thing is your nervous system. Your nervous system doesn't like changes. Changes are scary. Changes are scary for your nervous system, and you might want this change from here or from your heart. Even you may know that this is a good change and will serve you well, but from a very physiological level, yes, for your nervous system, this is something new, and new is scary. Whatever is familiar is safe. Whatever is known is safe, and this is a very powerful force, yes. And the known, the familiar, can be very uncomfortable, can really create a lot of damage in your life, but it still feels safe. Yeah, Myra is going saying that she's going through a change as well. Yes, and she finds it hard. Right. So just remember that for your nervous system, it is a new process. It is something that is going out of the comfort zone, so it creates a sense of threat on a very biological level. That's one thing. So you need a lot of reassurance, and you need baby steps. Yes, the gentler the change is, the more gradual the change is, the easier it is for your nervous system to adjust. So that's one thing. And another thing, also, like on purely biological level, yes, all of our habits, all of the ways we do things like repeatedly for a period of time, it creates a neural pathways in our brain. So like the impulses in your brain, they run alongside certain pathways, and these pathways are well trained. Yes, so because you've repeated this so many times, it is the easiest, the quickest, the simplest way to go for your nervous system. So because our brain is a brilliant tool, yes, and its job is to make you to oh, I lost my words. Its job is to keep you safe in life, yes, and first of all make you survive, and then make you well. Then it tries to do things in the simplest and easiest way possible. So if something is well trained, it's just the easiest thing to do. So just remembering this, that whenever you are making a change, you are kind of rewiring your brain, and it takes a bit of time. So all these excuses, all these justifications that are coming up to the surface, they are not really true. Because sometimes we get so confused whether, okay, so I wanted this a week ago, now I'm not sure whether I want it anymore, what's really going on here. But no, if you really truly wanted something, yes, and then you come across this emotional resistance, just remember that this is a resistance, that is a biological mechanism. Yes, this is just your nervous system trying to keep you safe. So, again, reassurance, a lot of reassurance, and baby steps, gradually, and with curiosity and with compassion, as always. Okay, does that help? Does that gives you some ideas what you can do to make this change in a bit easier way, and to set the boundary in a certain situation, while really taking care of your nervous system, yes, of your brain, and of how your brain or your mind functions. All right, so that's number two, and let's move to number three. So the third one, and this is what we always come across, right? And it is something that we start to think straight away about when we talk about boundaries, right? I'm sure that sounds familiar. So this is, of course, guilt. And I'm really sorry, like, to break it to you, but guilt is simply to be expected. So whenever you start to do something about your boundaries, guilt is almost certain, to come up to the surface to some extent. So your only task is to learn how to cope with it. And you might, like, a simple example, or like an analogy really, is when you get like a splinter in your finger. Did you like used to get it like when you were a child? I used to often get like wood splinters into my fingers, and then my mom had to take them out with the needle, um, which like wasn't really painful, but was scary. That's for sure. So anyway, when you got this splinter in your finger and you have to like take it out, there is some blood and sometimes even some swelling coming up, and that's a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with this. Quite often, it's a sign that things are healing. And it's the same with guilt. You set out to do something about your boundary. You set it in a better way. You take action. You express your needs. You express your wants. You speak up. You stand up to yourself, for yourself. And the guilt is coming up. And the guilt is coming up because our boundaries are really connected to things that we learned a long time ago, usually in our childhood. Yes, the previous time we talked about boundaries, we talked about our boundaries blueprint. Yes, so this template that we created when we were very, very little, just by observing people around us, how they interact with one another, how then they interact with us, how they treat us, of course. Yes, and on the basis of all this information, we drew some conclusions, we made some assumptions. Many of these conclusions and assumptions have nothing to do with truth. Yes, because we made them when we were really little and knew very little about the world. And our data was very limited and our experience was very limited. But we still made the conclusions and assumptions. And quite often, they are still in us. Even now, when we are, mature adults, they quite often still run our life. So when you try to change your boundaries, guilt is coming up because guilt is very much locked in our beliefs. Yes, our boundaries are locked in our beliefs, and our beliefs, especially those long-lasting beliefs, have very, very long roots, right? So you might believe, for example, that it is selfish to put yourself first. Yes, you might believe that if you say no, something terrible will happen, which sometimes mean my mommy will get mad at me, yes, and stop loving me. You might believe that you are mean if you say openly what you think, or that your needs are too much and they will be a burden to other people. Maybe you believe that if you say what you really think, or if you say what you need, it will upset others, and everyone will be angry at you or upset with you. Or maybe they will laugh at you. Maybe they will think that you're stupid, yes, which comes down to the belief that you, somewhere deep inside, believe that you are stupid. So all of these long lasting, yes, coming from our childhood beliefs, they get triggered whenever you start to set your boundary in a healthy way. Does that make sense? And can you when we talk about guilt, can you pinpoint some of your beliefs that are coming to the surface whenever you try to, set your boundaries in a better way? Because whenever you challenge, the status quo of your boundaries, whenever you try to push them, change them, transform them, these beliefs get really, really strongly triggered. So, and it is, again, it might be a very subconscious process. So even if you know, again, intellectually in your head, or even if you feel it in your heart, that setting this boundary in a better way would be good for you and would be good for the other person, because boundaries work both ways, yes? Whenever you set them in a healthy way, it serves not only you, it serves the other person. Even if the other person doesn't know about that, it's still like setting healthy boundaries serves your relationships, is always good for your relationship. So it's good for both of you. So it can be very subconscious, yes, that these beliefs, sometimes we are not even aware of what these beliefs are, but they still come to the surface. So just take a moment, yes, to reflect on that and really check in with yourself. What beliefs get triggered? And you might discover really interesting things, because it is these beliefs that trigger guilt in turn. And we have a very nice psychological term for this guilt. We call it unearned guilt. Yeah, because like it is unearned. Yes, it has no justification in the outside situation, but for you and for your system, it makes a lot of sense. So in the inner circle, yes, we have embrace and release practice, which allows us to really get in touch. Embrace in the sense like make space for this guilt, allow ourselves to feel it, and then let it go, and then set it free, so that um, it doesn't keep you stuck in this place of guilt, which is a very difficult place to be in, and I'm sure you know it. And it can keep you stuck in the place where you do not have enough motivation or courage or strength to set this boundary in the way you would like to set it. So these are, like three things that can really keep you stuck from setting the boundaries you want to in the way you want to set them. Um, Secondary gains, emotional resistance, and the feeling of guilt. And this is just one set of why questions that you need to ask yourself. And there is another set which is very, very powerful as well, and we won't go into this today. But if you are in the inner circle, yes, we had a beautiful practice around this last week, and on our live call on Thursday 2 weeks ago. And this is all about asking yourself why you want to set this boundary in a better way. So really diving into what is so important for you, that you want to take action, that you want to put some effort into making a change here. What are you going to get out of it? What is your true motivation here? Because quite often we tend to focus on what we don't want and forget about what we really want to get out of something, what we really long for, what we value so much that it can give us all the motivation to take action. there is a beautiful quote that I want to share with you, which says, "When I choose to be powerful and use my strength in the service of my vision, it becomes less and less important that I'm afraid." Yes, our vision, our values, our longing has huge power to give us strength and motivation to move forward towards, our goals and our dreams. And as I mentioned, there are many different ways of working with that. And in our inner circle, we did a beautiful creative art practice. So I will just show you my own little picture that I did as a result of that's the end result of the practice, and that was just a beautiful way of reconnecting to what really matters to us in terms of this particular boundary that we want to set in a much better way. So I really encourage you to join us on Tuesday. There is a link about this video to join our workshop on Tuesday evening, and I will share with you my Ignite method. So instead of diving in and out and focusing on little things, I want to share with you really an overall picture, just a very step-by-step plan how you can bring much more ease and fulfillment and alignment into all of your relationships. So it's going to be like an amazing time that we are going to have together. So I hope you can be with us live on Tuesday. And even if you can't be there on Tuesday live, if you sign up, you will get access to the recording for the next 5 days. So if you can't do it Tuesday, you can still watch it later. All right, and so that's all for today. Thank you so much for being here. I think I'll be taking a break from Self-Love Sunday chats for the month of August. I think, with the beautiful weather and holidays around, we don't want to spend so much time in front of the screen. And I'm really working hard of a new project, a new program that is coming live in August as well. So I think we'll be back with Self-Love Sunday chats in September. So have a beautiful Sunday and really enjoy, the beautiful weather and the beautiful summer that we're having here right now. And I hope to see you on Tuesday. Thanks and bye for now.